Moving from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Tuesday, 19th November 2024, and we are coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will all rejoice and be glad in it. A wet morning indeed. You must remember to walk with your umbrellas, your raincoats, your rain boots, whatever it takes to keep you safe and out of being completely soaked as you traverse the streets this morning, whether you're getting to work, you're running errands, whatever you're doing this morning, even if you're taking a little jog before you get your day started. Remember to clothe yourself properly so that you will not feel the impact too much of the rain. There's a flu that's going around and you don't want to fall victim of that. So make sure that you are well bundled up if you have to this morning. It's International Men's Day, and of course here on our program this morning, we're going to celebrate men. So you want to be here throughout the entire discussion this morning as we speak to some men in our communities across Trinidad and Tobago in terms of what they have been doing, their struggles, their triumphs, their victories, and all that they are fighting for to make our society a better place for us to live in. Yes, we have to embrace our men because they have made sterling contributions wherever we are. It's for me, once a man is around, things become so much easier. And so I will celebrate them this morning. I will give them their rightful place, and I will allow them to be a man. I do not want to be a man. I'm happy that I'm a woman, and I'm happy that there's so many men around who can help us in all the things that we need to get done. So today we will celebrate them. But before we get into all of those conversations, of course, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adada. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, November 19, 2024. The Works and Transport Ministry has revised the demerit point system effective November 18th following public feedback since its 2020 implementation. Key changes include reducing penalties for violations such as breaching traffic signs, which now carry 2 demerit points down from 3, and a $500 fine down from $1,000. Offenses including defective indication plates or vehicles without silencers also reduced demerit points, though fines remain unchanged. New penalties were introduced for misusing disability parking permits, with fines up to $2,000 and 3 demerit points for serious infractions. The amendments aim to enhance road safety, address stakeholders' concerns, and maintain fairness while other fixed penalties remain unchanged. Up next, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has rejected calls to devalue the TT dollar, asserting that such move would benefit those foreign exchange at the expense of the wider population, increasing costs and worsening inequality. He highlighted the government's annual injection of the US $2.5 billion into the forex market and ongoing discussions led by Finance Minister Colin Imbert with banks and business groups to address increased demand driven by economic growth and consumer preference for foreign goods. The government aims to regulate forex distribution while safeguarding essentials like food, medicine, and manufacturing. And finally, the announcement of a special task force vetted by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration to tackle transnational organized crime under the supervision of Commissioner Police Airwood Christopher was announced by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. Rowley noted extensive consultation led to this unit creation, with the Drug Enforcement Administration supporting during investigations. Meanwhile, Rowley also addressed the Strategic Service Agency ongoing audit, with interim findings shaping a new organizational structure, but no timelines to completion was provided due to the audit's complexity. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Bianna, for our news there in 90 seconds. Bianna, it is a wet Tuesday morning.
Yes,
I know we are still in the rainy season. We haven't had much rain, but when it does rain, it rains.
Yes.
And this morning there was thunder, rain, and lightning this morning. How did you fare out?
Adada, when I heard the showers of blessings coming down my mindset was just to dive back into that bed.
I know the most cozy place to be this morning is under the blankets, but duty calls.
Yes.
And so we are here this morning, of course, to have conversations with our viewers. You know, we're celebrating International Men's Day today.
That's so true.
And, you know, sometimes, in all fairness, you would hear men saying that women's issues and children's issues usually take the force. So for me, I find it very important to also give them the equal space in terms of talking about, you know, the struggles men have. People feel because a man is a strong being that he has no issues, he has no problems.
But my question is, do you think that men speak up much about their issues?
I feel because they don't have the platform, one, and the culture is that a man should be macho, so he shouldn't speak. He should just deal with stuff and keep it moving. Because, you know, sometimes in social circles, they tend to get ridiculed, they tend to get mocked at. And so most men prefer to keep their issues to themselves unless they can find a safe space, you know, where they could talk about their issues. So I'm hoping that the thing, you know, the status quo can change a little bit.
Yes.
And so that they can feel that they can speak freely about these issues.
Yes.
And, you know, some of the guests we have on this morning, these men are advocates for men's issues and men's rights and providing that type of space. So we'll have the conversation to see what is happening, how they can provide platforms, what they've been petitioning for and stuff like that to get men moving forward. Because, you know, once a man understands his power, I mean, beyond our life becomes easier, isn't
Much
it?
easier.
Yes, and so, of course, we will root for that, of course, as well, for a man to take his stand in his true power and authority.
Yes, but before I go, I would just like to say, you know, happy International Men's Day to all the male staff at Tobago Updates.
Of course, of course.
Yes.
You know, definitely holding us down here, you know, in the background, our producer, our director,
Yes.
you know, all of our male staff, you know, really help, our cameramen,
Yes.
really helping us, you know, floor runners, production, the entire production team, primarily made up of men, of course. I share with you, Biana, in wishing all of you happy International Men's Day.
Yes.
All right, Biana, thank you so much for joining us here on the news this morning. And we do hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Same to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with all those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. We start off this morning by saying happy birthday to a man, of course. We say happy birthday to Roldan Reed. Roldan Reed is celebrating a birthday today, and we want to say happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday, and also happy International Men's Day to you as well. Another man is celebrating today. This is Ricky Jack. Ricky Jack is celebrating his birthday. And Ricky, this greeting is coming from your daughter, Donica Pitt. She says, happy birthday to you. Of course, we want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. We pray God's blessings upon your life. And we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday and happy International Men's Day to you as well. And of course, for those of you who are celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, a promotion, maybe your retirement, we want to say happy celebration to you, happy retirement to you, congratulations on all that you've been achieving. But we want to remind you to include God in your celebrations. Give him thanks for life and ask him for his continued guidance and protection over your life as well. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you're viewing us right here in Tobago, in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, Canada, Australia, Africa, Asia, wherever you are, we say thank you so much for choosing us, for making us your #1 choice for morning show here in Tobago. And of course, we want to say to all of our viewers far and wide, happy International Men's Day to you. All our male viewers, happy International Men's Day to you. We see you, we appreciate you, and we are rooting for you for all the things that you want to achieve and aspire and be. We are here for it, and we're going to have conversations. We're going to change the status quo, and of course, we're going to give you the equal playing field as the other gender, which are women and children, have as well. We want you to thrive, and we don't want you to be on the back burner while we put all our efforts into women and the children. So we're going to make it equal, right? Who are we having conversations with as we're speaking on International Men's Day? Well, no stranger to men's issues. We start off the conversation by speaking with Mr. Rundle Fields, and he is the president of the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, formerly known as the Single Fathers Association. And we're speaking about recognizing single fathers. We also speak with Adrian Mark. Adrian Mark is a youth mentor to young men, teenage men in the community of Golden Lane, and we'll be speaking with him as well. And then we wrap the conversation by speaking with Mr. Jamel Morton. Yes, the BTD founder. As you are aware, this is a young man who goes into communities trying to help as many persons as possible. And so we're going to have those conversations this morning. We do hope that you could stay with us throughout the entire programming as we go through the paces, as we speak with these men, and of course, as we give them our love as well. So we have to go for a short break before we start all of that talking. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Standards Black Friday deal starts now with 35% off select television, 30% off select appliances, 25% off Christmas decor, 15% off select divans, 20% off select furniture, and you can shop in store and online. Standards Black Friday deal. Nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Are you thinking about spending Christmas in Tobago? Well, call us at Thorns Place. We are located at the hills of Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port, with rooms starting at 200 TT. Call us now at 745-7306 or 682-8676. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Message us on WhatsApp at Thorns Place. Your Christmas in Tobago will be even more special.
Get ready for Tobago Stockwest Next Level 2024. Join us for an unforgettable night of talent and excitement as Tobago Stockwest, in collaboration with Tobago Updates, presents the first semi-final on Thursday, November 14th, 2024, and the second semi-final on November 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex. Celebrate the incredible talent from across Tobago's communities and witness a showcase like no other. Admission is just $50. Don't miss your chance to support the stars of tomorrow. See you there. Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. Indeed, it's a wet morning this morning, so of course, when you're going out there, remember to walk with your umbrellas and protect yourself from the rainfall. It's International Men's Day, yes, and we will celebrate our men. We will have conversations with our men this morning, and today we start off our conversation with none other than Mr. Rundle Fields, no stranger for men's advocates. He is the president of the Single Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and we're talking about recognizing single fathers and all that pertains primarily to men's issues here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean region, and internationally as well. Good morning, Mr. Fields, and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Adana. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Of course, and a pleasure always to have conversations with you. I know you have a busy morning this morning, and we want to say thank you for joining us. Happy International Men's Day to you, first and foremost, we must say. And of course, thank you for all that you have been doing in terms of petitioning for men's rights and the causes that men have, speaking up boldly and bravely, even though sometimes it might cost you. And so we're celebrating International Men's Day today. And I know that you are part of an organization who has been planning and, talking about how we can change the conversation as it relates to men. And I want to know where you are in your headspace for this year's celebration. What are your thoughts? What are the things that went into preparing for trying to change the conversation? Because I know that your cry is not just for Trinidad and Tobago. I know you want to see a change internationally. So what has it been like for you in terms of what are the things you are thinking about that we need to address sort of immediately?
I mean, definitely our local statistic says it loudly, says that that men suffer and men are vulnerable in many areas. There are many social ills that impact men. And I mean, the fact that the statistics are so high, I mean, in the 80th percentile, 90th percentile, it's indicative that we've left things unaddressed. We've waited for the horse to pull the stable. And if we don't do something about it now, then we're going to be in a greater state of issues. We're seeing it happening when it comes to crime, when it comes to criminality. We're seeing the criminal mind is now becoming pervasive towards the younger generation. I mean, listen to the style of music that they love. They love the style of music that glorifies killing, glorifies murder, and glorifies these kind of heinous crimes, things that are actually criminal acts. And we need to ask ourselves, why is this taking place, particularly with the young boys? So, I mean, this is something that we're seeing, and you made mention of internationally. And this is something that we've seen regionally. And that's why we, this year, I mean, this was a brainchild, not only of myself, but the International Men's Day Committee at first, where we saw it valuable to bring the region together on these issues, where we seen that we having similar issues pertaining to maleness, similar issues pertaining to masculinity and to men in our society. We understood that it is not something exclusive to Trinidad and Tobago, but regionally, we are seeing where men's vulnerabilities, it seems to be left on the back burners. And I must thank those delegates and ministers who have journeyed from across the waters to participate in such an event, to say, hey, we recognize that this is an issue in our nation as well, and collectively we want to address it. We don't want to do it in silos. We are one Caribbean, we are one CARICOM, and together, if we put our minds together, we may actually find strategies, best practices that we could actually, the world could learn from us if we decide to go in this direction.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know on Sunday, there was a coming together, as you mentioned, the region, with the International Men's Day Regional Conference Committee planning events. The first one being held last year in Grenada, and, coming together again for the same purpose, to continue the conversation. Tell me a little bit about the compilation of the persons who were there on the march, some of the things you were able to discuss, and the way forward.
Right. We had the Minister of Health, who was the leading government business for Grenada there, the Honorable Philip Telesford. We had the Honorable Gloria Thomas, who is the Minister of Gender from Grenada as well. We had Mr. Mario Phillip from Nevis, who is the head of the Gender Department across there. We had Miss Kimaloy Murphy, who is from Anguilla. We had Mr. Derek Gomes, a prolific author and representative of Anguilla as well. He actually resides in the UK, but came from the UK just to be a part of this. We also have Montserrat, Mr. Nish Brown, Miss Fergus that came here as well. So I mean, and there were so many other delegates that were supposed to come, that were ready to come, but that will be a story for another day. But we have seen the regional desire to come together, to stand together, not only men, but women supporting men as well, so that they come forward and stand together with men, because they realize women bear men, women make sons, and even they realize that men need their support as well. So we commend all the women that came out on that march today, and that is why we've been inclusive in this conference. Even today at the International Men's Day conference, we told women they are allowed to come with one prerequisite, that they walk with a man. And many women have registered themselves and registered their men, whether it be their sons, whether it be their uncles, whether it be their husbands, their boyfriends, their fiancés, because they are interested too. We can't talk about paternity leave today and women aren't there, because women are the ones who suffer a lot when their husbands aren't there. Most of the times when I start having a discussion, whether it's on radio, whether it's on TV, and the public gets the opportunity to chime in, a woman always calls once the topic is paternity leave and gives a story of how she felt when her husband could not be there, but both she and her child immediately after the birth.
And, you know, are very, very important issues. And the fact that the region, you know, the issues are similar across the region, and that these ministers of government saw it fit to come across to be a part of this conference and to make their contributions as well, be a part of the conversation. Because as you mentioned, the issues are not isolated to Trinidad and to Tobago. You see the similarities across the regions, and the more voices we have, especially I know for certain that paternity leave is very, very significant for you because of the position you hold and the people you have conversations with. And you know, one of the things for me that I am hoping we can really make a dent in is that particular situation. It must start in some part of the region, even if it doesn't start in Trinidad and Tobago. It must somebody must say, okay, let's address this and let it filter through the Caribbean region so that the men can really have that time. More than just 1 week, 7 days is insufficient. You know, some women, when they bear children, some of them have to do cesarean sections, and so they need additional support, you know. So I'm rooting, of course, as a part of the IMD Regional Conference Committee. Of course, I am here for it all. Rondell, tell us a little bit about what today is going to look like in terms of the conference.
Well, today we're going to have the official ceremony to begin. We'll have some entertainment. We'll have the minister's address. I was informed last night that the Minister of Gender should be there. I always knew that the Minister of Energy, Minister Stuart Young, was going to bring the keynote. He had confirmed a long time ago. So we expect the greetings from them this morning. We're going to have some, as I said, some entertainment, and then we're going to go into a parallel conference. One side of the conference, as we did in Grenada, we're doing it in Trinidad today. One side of the conference for the men, where we'll go into panel discussions. We have a stacked panel again, just like we had a stacked panel yesterday from the boys to men, where we're going to discuss one, the healthy man, meaning we're treating with things pertaining to both the physical and the mental issues that men face. You understand? We're going to be dealing also with fatherhood in society, issues and solutions. And we're going to be dealing with the perceptions, the false perceptions of masculinity. Those are the three panel discussions. We have very, very competent panelists and moderators that will be stacked on them again. And we're going to go into a parallel session, as I said, this session for the older men, but also, I'm going to call the men older, for the adult males, and then the younger males. We're having an online session where we're going to do something that we've something that we've not hashed, but actually taken from the good courtesy of the Telecommunication Authority, they are actually sponsoring it again, which is ICT for Boys, where the boys will now go out across our nation of Trinidad and Tobago. We also send the link to all the other regions as well for boys to log on, where they will be participant in a training in artificial intelligence. And talking about artificial intelligence, we will also have an artificial intelligent avatar. Yesterday, Boys to Men function is highly interactive. You could walk up to him, talk to him. You would be surprised to see the level of technology and advancement that we have right in Trinidad and Tobago. So his name is Chris, and he and Mr. Samuel Sanka will be actually hosting our IMD session today. After the panel discussions are over at 3 p.m., we have 30 that we are at over substantially across the region, the greater part of them coming from Trinidad, and we have some also awardees coming from Nevis, coming from St. Kitts, and those other persons from Grenada who are here.
All right, we had a little bit of static there, but I got the general gist of the conference today. You know, Rondell, I want to wish you the very, very best. Unfortunately, I could not be there this year. Viewers, I am also a part of the International Men's Day Regional Conference. And, you know, this committee, they put a lot into the planning. They consider all the issues and they try to package everything in one. I mean, we can't deal with every single thing in one conference sitting. And so you want to look out for next year as well. It's an annual conference, and so we're going to be dealing with issues as they arise. All the very best today, Rondell, with you and the team there. Go and do your thing, represent Trinidad and Tobago, represent men, and I do hope the conversation transcends from just conversation into action. All right, thank you so much, of course, for joining us this morning. And again, happy International Men's Day to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Mr. Rondell Fields, President of the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, formerly known as the Single Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, as he spoke on the International Men's Day Regional Conference, which is taking place in Trinidad this morning. Actually, this weekend, they started off on Sunday, and it's culminating today. All right, we have to go for a short break, but you do know that we continue speaking about men, men's issues, young boys, young men. Once you are the male gender, we're speaking about you today and we're giving you our love and the support. Next in studio, we speak with Mr. Adrian Mark. So you want to be a part of this conversation. But before we begin, we have to go for a short break. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Black Friday starts now at Courts. Get new and amazing deals every week with the lowest prices on the hottest electronics, top-of-the-line appliances, and stylish furniture. No need to waste your time shopping around. Plus, you can shop now and pay us in February 2025. Black Friday starts now. Don't miss out. Quartz, bringing value home.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We just concluded conversations with Mr. Rondell Fields as he's making his way to the International Men's Day Regional Conference this morning. And of course, we continue conversations with speaking about men, men's issues, boys. Once you are the male gender this morning, the conversation is about you. And we speak now with Mr. Adrian Mark. He is a youth mentor, mentoring some young men in the community of Golden Lane. And we're going to have that conversation this morning as we continue to lend support to our young and vulnerable men in communities across Tobago. Good morning and welcome.
Pleasant good morning to you. Thanks for the invitation.
Of course, a pleasure having you here. And of course, you know, happy International Men's Day to you.
Thank you so much.
And we do hope that you have a wonderful day. First off, I want to start off by saying congratulations for stepping up and to be a mentor for young men. We have seen in recent times where situations, you know, leading to crime and criminal activity because of idleness, because of the fact they don't have somebody to mentor them, to lead them, you know, to kind of provide an alternative for them. And here you are stepping in. So I want you to talk us through, you know, your relationship in terms of young people in general and the young men in the community of Golden Lane.
All right. Okay, cool. My relationship with them is one of, let me see, a very welcoming one. I could approach any young person in Golden Lane and get a response from them. All right. That is because of the foundation rather that I've built with them growing up. Right. They tend to give me that respect anytime I approach any single one of them. I tend to be like a more block boy back then. So I'll go and sit on the block, you know, and just have conversation, and they will respond by that. And strange enough, I could give an instruction to some, and they follow through. So the relationship is one that is a very good one thus far with the youths in Golden Lane.
And you know, I appreciate the fact that they have that measure of respect for you, because I know sometimes some things can be taboo. They might be thinking, okay, you were one of us, or you are part of the community in Golden Lane, you've moved on, you've progressed and advanced your life, and how dare you speak to us? But the fact that the respect remains is commendable. And I'm happy that you have used that opportunity to say, hey, let's do something more formal. Let me get you together in a space and have conversations with you. What are some of the challenges that the community of Golden Lane faces? The young men in the community, what are some of the challenges they face? And making it the reason that you're saying, I'm going to be your support. I'm gonna stand with you. I'm gonna give you the support, the courage, the direction, you know, the leadership that you're looking for. What are some of the things you identified that made you want to do that?
All right. some of the challenges, and I'm not ashamed to say, is one, connecting with the older folks, right? It's my village. I love Golden Lane. But one of the cry from the young people is not getting to connect with the older folks. There's a big gap there. They will see they feel stigmatized or pushed aside, right? That is one. The next challenge that you may find to have is that you'll see young people crying out for employment, but strange enough, not employment from the government. Because I was having a conversation, and what caused me to run into this mentoring thing, I was having a conversation with a young man, and after having the conversation and hearing the young man vision, the young man could actually be a politician, or the young man could actually be somebody who runs for Golden Lane, so to speak, because the amount of vision he has, the amount of ideas he has, he doesn't want any government work. He wants an opportunity where he could start building himself as an entrepreneur. All right. And so to say, we don't create that kind of environment. We don't create that kind of space for young people where we give them a listening ear, one, or two, we bridge the gap with the older folks. And that is why we tend to have young people going astray, because there's no connection, one. Everybody wants to shove aside, and not Golden Lane only, everybody wants to shove aside young people these days. The young people, the harden, they give up on them. But in the case of having that gap filled, right, it will show that the challenges that we face could really and truly be fixed once we build that gap within the young people.
And primarily the young men are the ones who are coming out and asking for this type of support. And that is it's different to what you kind of more see them sitting back on the block and just saying, "Okay, Sarah." But you see them coming forward now, and I must commend you, of course, for jumping on this opportunity and calling them together and saying, "Here's what we're gonna go through the phases together." I know that you've been having discussions with them in terms of collaboration and support from corporate, whether it's corporate or government, whoever entities, to help you to provide, because I know you don't have it in your pocket to give them.
That's right.
So you have to have that measure of collaboration. Have you been getting any type of support? Have you been able to have successful conversations to get people on board to help these young men in this community?
Well, definitely yes, and I'm glad you asked the question, because the area representative, let me just backtrack before I come here. So I met with the young man, and I told him, I said, I'm going to sacrifice my time, sacrifice my days, and come up and meet with you all, right? And just hear the concerns and represent you all. He said, I could call my home name, right? He said, "White man, I want you to be up. I want you to do this. I don't mind you doing this." So, okay, I made some calls to some folks of mine, some friends of mine. And I said, "This is what I want to do." All right? And then, strange enough, a week after, I saw the area representative having so hats off to the area representative, Ms. Yakit, who is very supportive of the ideas as well, having a youth meeting for all young people in the areas from the district to come out. And so I told I make a phone call. I said, "Look at what is happening now. This is, we spoke last week, and this is what is happening now. There's the area representative wants to reach it. So I want you, as a young man, to come out and bring your peers." Now, mind you, I didn't expect him to come out. And when I saw the young man come out, that blew me away. So we had the meeting with the area representative, and the amount of ideas was birthed in the meeting. The area representative, she was fully on board in giving the support. Hence, in fact, she was the one that granted me this space and said, "Use this space anytime you want to meet with the young people, because we want to do a shift in the village of Golden Lane." So I have the support from the young people, and definitely I'll be calling on other folks, from past folks from Golden Lane, to give support as well, because we want to really make a change in the village of Golden Lane.
And kudos there. What is your vision? Now that you have not just this young man, you have a space and an opportunity to impact the lives of more than just one person, provide opportunities for them, expose them to whether it's a grant for their business or a scholarship opportunity. What exactly exactly is your vision? I know it's young, it's new. It could be a short-term vision for this group and for changing the conversation there about them in Golden Lane.
My vision for the young people is to see every single life change from bad to good. Every single young person in Golden Lane start living out purpose. All right, and I'll say this: I've walked from Culloden, Mount Thomas, Old Young, Seaview, and every single one of them have ideas. Every single one of them have dreams. Every single one of them have vision. My fulfillment will be seen, or my vision will be seen as one that to see every young person get on board and start living out what they have asked for. That is my vision.
And a big one indeed, you know. And, you know, I want to make a call to corporate Tobago, government agencies, whomever. If not Golden Lane, any community on the island of Tobago where you see young people coming together and asking for help, asking for support. I mean, we could use the Golden Lane situation for this morning. Come on board. These are young men. And, you know, my thing is, once a young man, once he learns from young, as we're speaking about International Men's Day, once a man understands his position and his role in society, we have stronger societies. We have firmer societies. And so I want all of us to come together in whatever. It does not have to be finances. This assemblyman provided a space.
Yes.
Furniture, chairs, you know, a fan of the place had something to show them that you are in support of them and you are giving them your help. And once you get them off the streets,
correct is right.
There's an alternative.
Yep. I'll say this. One of the things that really pushed me towards doing this as well is losing my nephew. All right, and to the hands of the law, he was shot, etc. And that really stirred a kind of vexation, but yet a dreaded one, because I heard a pastor said this recently. There are 5,000 folks, 5,000 prisoners in TNT, right? And out of the 5,000 prisoners, there's 142 female. The rest is men. And I'm saying this to say, we are losing our young people and we are losing our men because there is no kind of take time to sit down, or there's no kind of suggestion or no grounds, no opportunity given to a man to probably, let me say young people, matter of fact, given to a young individual, so to speak, a young man, to actually start living his full potential out. So we lose them to the folks on the block, we lose them to gangs, we lose them to the drug lords, so to speak, we lose them to those who have more influential opportunity over them. We lose them to a lot of folks because there is no time to sit, relate, and see how best you could channel a young man, so to speak, because it's men Dave's talking about now. There's no time to sit down and channel that young man into purpose. So we lose them, and hence the reason why the prison is full of, and we are losing our young men in society.
You know, the statistics there very, very alarming. When you're talking about not even 500, right? Not even 10% of what is there. So more than 95% are men, boys and men. And, you know, it really is alarming. And, you know, I always want to stand with people who, I have a boy child.
Right.
You know, I am raising a young man, and I will always advocate for a space for a young man to feel safe. Earlier, we were talking about spaces where, I think it was off air, we were talking about as a young man feeling safe in a space to talk freely.
Yes.
Are the spaces created for them to speak about things that affect them and impact their lives? Because, you know, in culturally, you know, you had to be mature as a man. Because if you talk about you're wet in your bed or your mommy beating you, they're laughing you on the block. And you want to create spaces where like this young man who has this idea, it might be out of the world. One of his partners might say, well, you're trying to play. But you want to create spaces that is safe for these young men. And I want to again congratulate you for seeing the opportunity to provide that kind of support for them. And, you know, collaborating with the Assemblyman and hopefully with other agencies here in Tobago coming out. And as I mentioned before, not just Golden Lane, communities, there's so many communities where we lose our young men. And you know, Adrian, I want you to share with our viewers what you want from them to help you, to help these young men.
All right, viewers, what I will need is your support to buy into the vision. All right, buying into the vision may not be financially, but sponsorship. For example, we actually, with the assistance of the area representative, we are planning. We are actually planning a fun day, right? We are actually planning now a games night. All right, so the young people could come out and be a part of building that bond again, and you know, finding that love, finding that space. So we are planning a games night, and we are trying to use it as a fundraiser to actually get some funds to try to. Right now we have some projects about it, and you permit me to share them after. To try to get some projects started. So for the games night, for example, we may need some sponsorship for some prizes. Right, because you pay, you come in, if you win how much games we want, probably a tablet, a laptop, some kind of thing, you know, to make it a little fun, a phone, an iPhone, or some kind of thing. Yeah, I'm talking big to actually get the, you know, get the support to make it interesting. One of the next thing we have, with the help of the area representative as well, again, is we want to have a car show. Right, there's a lot of things in Golden Lane, mechanic, young mechanic. So let me acknowledge Mr. Dels Otto in Golden Lane, young mechanics that actually have potential and doing good in Golden Lane. Right, we want to collaborate with him and do a car show in the village of Golden Lane soon. All right, I don't know, probably if you're out there and you want to sponsor something, sponsor a prize, you could sponsor that. We are actually embarking now to do some agriculture, right? I don't know if somebody might want to sponsor some sheep, because we have the land, you know, we have the land, we get the permission from the area rep, we have the land and so on. And so I don't know if somebody might want to sponsor something. These are things we have coming on board. We have some crab farm coming on board. I don't know if somebody want to sponsor something. So just allow me to share quick. Yes. So these are some of the things we have coming on board for Golden Lane. Yes, we are causing a paradigm shift. We are changing the trajectory in Golden Lane. So these are some of our vision. These are some of our plans for early next year come, right? So you all could sow into it, buy into it, and see growth and see change come out of it.
Adrian, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm beaming with joy and pride as you lend that measure of support, and you have all these initiatives and these ideas, and that the young people are buying into it. They're eager and excited to get it done. We really want to change the status quo in our communities, and if it takes community by community, let's start with Golden Lane.
Let's start with Golden Lane.
You know, so
and in fact, these are not my ideas. These were the young people ideas. Crab farm, want to do agriculture, who wants to do nails, who wants to have the games night, who wants to have the car show. These are not our ideas. These are the young people ideas. So we are actually trying to work to try to fuel it, start fueling it, so that it could come out, it could blossom. All right. So that's to show you how much ideas we have. We are rich in ideas and we are rich in thoughts.
That's right, that's right. And continue to support them, continue to give them that measure of support. And I do hope, Tobago, you come out and, as I said, adopt a community. How about that? You know, there are people within communities who have the resources. So let's pump the resources into our young people, because they are the ones who are going to shape the future of where we will live. And we want to live in peace. We want to give them opportunities. We don't want to keep them idle. We want to ensure that they feel that there's a purpose in them, which there is. So let's continue to do that. Adrian, thank you so much for coming on this morning. And I'm really giving us that information. I didn't know it was all of this that was happening there. And so I'm happy to hear about it. And we will keep in touch with you and the group there at Golden Lane to see what is happening as you progress.
Sure.
And we do hope that all of Tobago will rally around each community far and wide within the 116 here in Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations about men, because it's International Men's Day. And we're going to give them all the love and support they deserve so they can be who they were called to be, making my life and yours much easier. We have to go for a short break, and as we go for a break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Standards Black Friday deal starts now with 35% off select television, 30% off select appliances, 25% off Christmas decor, 15% off select divans, 20% off select furniture, and you can shop in store and online. Standards Black Friday deal. Nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Get ready for Tobago Stockwest Next Level 2024. Join us for an unforgettable night of talent and excitement as Tobago Stockwest, in collaboration with Tobago Updates, presents the first semi-final on Thursday, November 14th, 2024, and the second semi-final on November 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex. Celebrate the incredible talent from across Tobago's communities and witness a showcase like no other. Admission is just $50. Don't miss your chance to support the stars of tomorrow. See you there.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
So today is the day we actually blessing our worthy mom with our restored Hyundai Gets at Massey Showroom, Trinidad. And this initiative is truly showing the love and positivity in Trinidad and Tobago that we once knew. Because who could have ever thought that a small team of youths from the Sister Isle could have bring together so many people and impacting so many strangers that now could become family. So this mom is hailing all the way from the eastern Trinidad, and the stories that we actually bringing her to the showroom to be interviewed, and obviously from there we'll be able to take her to Tobago after once she's chosen. She's a mom of 3 precious gems, and from just generally conversating with her, it clearly shows that the only person who doesn't have problems is a dead man. Yes, big or small, we all going through something. But despite it all, she chooses to remain positive and fight for a better life for her and her family. You see, no man is perfect, and who are we to judge? We all deserve a second chance or opportunity in this life. And that's the mission of this initiative. Strangers coming together to bring back hope and impact millions positively across Trinidad and Tobago. And Ayana here, who was once a stranger, now family, who gave us the vehicle, literally meeting our worthy mom, Ayana also, and they now share a forever bond, more like sisters, because of this initiative. Yeah, Ayana, so Ayana the giver, we are very, very grateful.
Yeah.
And you could see the children, so they're liking it everywhere.
I tell you, my children praying hard for me right now, but I told them, listen, we will travel in evening time, at least we together, you know? Yeah. Praying hard right now.
And that's just the most important thing. Because I always say everything is stepping stones, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And you just have to remain positive, eh?
Yeah, positive.
Nothing not before it's time.
Yeah.
You have to remain positive.
Yana, yeah.
She come out, or she good?
With them. You're writing, boy. We're writing there. A little writing, bad.
Right. So I know you think you can check it out for yourself. You could walk around, get a small check for yourself. You're shy. Say a prayer. You have some bad news. It mightn't. I feel you might be the one to actually take it to Tobago. Because we done thing of the day, right? And that's the bad news. And I feel able to take it to Tobago. Don't mind?
We're praying for everybody.
That's the bad news. The good news is, Ayana, we don't have to because the car is actually yours now.
No.
Yeah, it's actually yours. That's right. Yeah, it's actually yours. You have nobody else. Everybody is part of my team. You have nobody else. Nobody else at all. You have nobody else. Nobody. You have nobody else. So the car is actually yours. So everybody is part of the team as usual.
A tear-jerking moment there, of course, as we celebrate men working in their communities. This morning, we speak with Mr. Jamel Morton. He is the founder of the BTD series. And as you know, Jamel, he looks for vulnerable persons in need, rather, and of course, try to plug in the need, helping them in whichever way he can. Jamel is online with us this morning, and we're going to have that conversation this morning. Good morning, Jamel.
Morning, everybody. Morning. Hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. And of course, happy International Men's Day to you today, Jamel.
Wow. Blessings and I receive it. Thanks.
Right. And of course, we're focusing our conversation this morning on the contributions of men in our communities and our societies here in Trinidad and Tobago. And we want to celebrate you this morning. Thank you so much for all that you are doing and representing men, a true example of what a man is and what a man is called to do, walking in your purpose there. We just saw that video. Of course, we know that you go into communities looking for persons with help, rallying person sponsors to contribute, to collaborate with, to ensure that you can meet a need for whether small or great, right? And so, of course, we want to say thank you for doing that. We want to talk about what is the thing that spurred you into taking these types of actions, trying to support people in their areas of need.
All right, well, definitely it has to be COVID. I had a very, very close relationship with my grandfather, and it was within 2 days he went to the hospital just for a checkup, and from there we never saw him again. And at that time, COVID was literally, you had to bury within 48 hours, that kind of thing. So closed casket, no questions asked, no kind of closure. And it just dawned to me as a matter of fact, it's like nothing really makes sense or matter material aspect wise. And from there, it just sparked a bone in me that, we deserve to actually serve each other, to impact the people that you have around you while they have the time. So that was the whole spark in me there.
And I know there's a team that you work with. You have your little community. They say it takes a village. Tell us a little bit about the composition of your team, the members who work with you together to get these projects off the ground.
Well, the team is not a big team at all. It's a very small team, right? It's literally me and about 3 of us, on the ground here in Tobago, which is me, a business partner of mine, Megan, and we have 2 other people who do more or less the running up and down sometimes when we're not able to. Smalls on our next day. So that is just more or less there from 4 of us from Tobago. And other than that, the impact that we'll be able to create, the amount of people that reach out to us, especially across the waters, it's so amazing, trust me.
And what is your ultimate goal? When you look for persons who need, what is your goal? For me, I'm sitting and I'm looking at your videos, and each time there's always that tear-jerking moment. It's like you want to cry because you know that you found the right person to give that support to. What is your ultimate goal when you produce this series? You look for that person and you provide that measure of help and support.
Well, first of all, energy to ever lie. So there's always get that gut feeling on the end. However, we do have a process in terms of people who reach out via or inboxes and DMs, that kind of thing, and we go through the story. We go and do background check, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it's to also inspire and be able to help them. So if they're looking to help themselves, and be able to so a car for us or our contribution to them would just be like a crutch, right? So it's just like a stepping stone to put them on a different path or a foundation, I should say, to add or to be able to provide that convenience, because we don't want to give somebody something and it comes like a burden. So we had to find the right person in that, and they have to be able to help themselves after. So you had to be able to be looking to help yourself, or you're wanting to better yourself for your family, that kind of thing.
That process really is a good one in terms of striking the balance there, because, sometimes you see, you give somebody something, as you rightfully said, and they're unable to maintain it, defeating the purpose. So I like the fact that your process is very thorough and that you put a lot of thought into it. In terms of, the lives that you have been impacting, do you do any type of follow-up to see how they're doing, or for relationships that have been formed after?
Well, for everyone now we are number 4, we're on number 5, and now we are those 4 people. We have such a life-changing experience. Everybody's like family now. So from time to time, even in Trinidad and all, every time we go down, we definitely check up on them. And with the backstories coming, we want to be able to do a nice little documentary on those people that we helped before and show the progress that they made, because even the first people, as I said, to go down the other day and we see pumpkins still on the van, the boy actually selling it by the market and them kind of thing. That in itself was such a major joy. So yeah, we always do documentaries, and we're in the process of doing the documentaries, but we always keep up and check up on these people.
Absolutely amazing stuff, Jamel. I hope that people will continue to bring that measure of support, and your collaborations will continue to yield fruit. And I know that the persons who are benefiting are very, very grateful and very thankful. Of this whole process, what is the thing that you look forward to the most when you're going to help a family or a person in need?
Well, definitely the feeling in itself, right, is like a high for me, I would say, because off camera, nobody do really know the conversations, and just being able to be there in person and see the reaction based off your hard work, you're seeing a family that you could actually transform their lives. It's something totally unexplainable. And in itself, literally, these people really can't help you back. So you're not looking back anything at all. So that's the most important feeling. And yeah, it goes 1,000 miles over. Trust me when I tell you.
And I know for certain that once you make these types of contributions, it brings change to the person's life, as you mentioned. How would you like to encourage somebody who is in a position to help? Because we have persons with resources and they're not sure how to channel them to help somebody. So I want you to give a sort of an encouragement for persons who they have the resources and they're trying to figure out, how do I help somebody? Just start, innit? How do you advise them and encourage them to go or look for persons who need the help and give it to them?
Well, as I just always tell anyone, you cannot carry anything with you. So definitely is all about the impact that you make here right now with whatever resources that you have available to you, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a car, it's just as simple as a smile. But the people actually with the resources, we just getting started. I don't say you have to do it through me, we just as vessel. However, there's so many broken homes, so many communities, so many people right next to you or right across the road from you that definitely need the help. So you don't have to tell your left hand where right hand doing, but you could go out there and just do your part. It doesn't have to be money all the time. It could be a simple meal. It could be providing groceries. And I mean, people do it all the time, but still we need to be able to spread more love. We need to now go into the communities and to the homes and really access. Now, don't get me wrong, nobody here in reality say, you reach anywhere better than anybody. But if you have the resources, you're going to know. And you could be able to tell when that person genuinely needs some help and you could be able to ask them stuff.
All right, Jamel. And in closing, do you have any thoughts or remarks that you want to share with our viewers this morning?
Well, we're just getting started. We have so much more to come before the year is out, right? Support or not, God is always the boss and He would always provide. And once you're walking in purpose and in truth, your possibilities and your provision will be endless. So thanks to everyone. Look forward to seeing and doing so much more. Blessings and love.
Thank you so much, Jamel, for coming on this morning and sharing your story and all that you do. And as I said, happy International Men's Day. And I do hope that you continue to provide that measure of support and that you get all the help that you need to carry out your purpose here in Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying with us throughout this entire programming this morning as we share the love with our men in our communities across Trinidad and Tobago, talking about men's issues and, of course, ensuring that we give them that measure of support and love. To all our viewers far and wide, it is International Men's Day, and again we want to say happy International Men's Day to you. We do hope that you take some time today to reflect on your life, the challenges you face, the support you require, and of course that you find a safe space where you can air your views and get the measure of support that you need to progress and transcend and become the man that you are meant to be. As I mentioned before, once a man takes up his position, then our lives become easier. And so, of course, I'll be rooting for you all the way through. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT, and as we go, we invite you to stay with us. And as you stay, of course, we want you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
decided to do this. And by this, I mean recognize publicly the persons that not only participated in the 2024 edition of the Tobago Heritage Festival, but the persons who put their best feet forward, put their talent on display. This morning we are here to recognize the winners across the categories in the Tobago Heritage Festival Calypso Monarch competition, our folk fiesta, our Junior Miss Heritage competition, and to distribute checks to our community groups that participated.
Hi, I am Gavi Sandy. I participated in the Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch and I am the winner, second time in a row. I'm very excited, not only about collecting the check, but collecting it at a faster time than last year. You know, that's something I really appreciate. They put in the effort to pay out the monies faster, and I truly appreciate that.
I am Lesbian Ellis, mother of Gavi Sandy, and I placed in the Tobago Calypso Heritage Monarch, and I placed fourth, second time in a row. While I appreciate getting the money earlier than last year, I wish I had it for my birthday, which was in September.
We are grateful for the monies because, you know, we work very hard, and I mean, when you work hard, you must get paid. But apart from that, you know, we take pride in our culture. We do not do it for the money. We do it to keep the culture alive, to spread, you know, the information, you know, the knowledge. So that's and for the fun, we enjoy what we do.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
We're thrilled to announce the Tobago Agri-Tech Innovation Summit 2024. This transformative event taking place from December 2nd to 3rd at the Shore Park Complex will focus on the theme Climate Change, Resilience and Adaptation in Agriculture. As the first of its kind on the island, the summit aims to position Tobago as a leader in agricultural innovation, addressing climate change challenges and showcasing agri-tech solutions that will shape how we grow our food, manage resources, and ensure our sustainable future.
The Tobago Agri-Tech Innovation Summit is about more than introducing technology. It is about creating a mindset shift. We want our farmers to not just
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
To Tobago updates here live from Port Mall in Scarborough. Now, Miss Combi would have taken you through the morning show, and I'm just here to say good morning, Tobago. Welcome to our GMT segment here on Tobago Updates. To our varying viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and 102 on AMPLIA, a special good morning to you.
Now, before we begin, let's have our news in 90 seconds. The Works and Transport Ministry has revised the demerit point system effective November 18th, following public feedback since its 2020 implementation. Key changes include reducing penalties for violations such as breaching traffic signs, which now carry 2 demerit points, down from 3, and a $500 fine, down from $1,000. Offenses involving the defective identification plates or vehicles without silencers also have reduced demerit points, though fines remain unchanged. New penalties were introduced for misusing disability parking permits, with fines up to $2,000 and 3 demerit points for serious infractions. The amendments aim to enhance road safety, address stakeholder concerns, and maintain fairness, while other fixed penalties remain unchanged. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has rejected calls to devalue the TT dollar, asserting that such a move would benefit those with foreign exchange at the expense of the wider population, increasing costs and worsening inequality. He highlighted the government's annual injection of $2.5 billion into the forex market and ongoing discussions led by Finance Minister Colm Inbert with banks and business groups to address increased demand driven by economic growth and consumer preferences for foreign goods. The government aims to regulate forex distribution while safeguarding essentials like food, medicine, and manufacturing. The announcement of a special police task force vetted by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration to tackle transnational organized crime under the supervision of Commissioner of Police Erla Harewood Christopher was announced by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. Rowley noted extensive consultations led to this union creation, with the Drug Enforcement Administration support during investigations. Meanwhile, Rowley also addressed the Strategic Services Agency ongoing audit, with interim findings shaping a new organizational structure, but no timeline for completion was provided due to the audit's complexity. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Now, I mean, in this space, at this time, on this day, we are all celebrating that big thing that is International Men's Day. So happy International Men's Day goes out to all the men in your lives. That is your father, your brother, your uncle, your grandpa, your boyfriend, your fiance, your husband, wherever he may fall. Happy International Men's Day to you all, to all the men in studio, of course, who always work very hard to make, mornings happen. Happy International Men's Day to you. Now, in light of International Men's Day, we'll be taking you through a few interviews done by very outstanding men in the community. Our first 2 interviews will be done with Mr. Paul Richards, Independent Senator Paul Richards, and he will be discussing domestic violence against men, protecting the bullied man. And then we'll divert into an interview with Pastor Clive Dutton, a social activist, who will be speaking on men in gang violence. All right. So we'll go straight into our interviews for this morning. Let's welcome on Independent Senator Mr. Paul Richards. Good morning to you. All right, we seem to be having some technical difficulties, but we'll be right back. So just stay alive and share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
And we are back. Sorry for those technical difficulties, viewers. Thank you so much for staying with us. As I said, we go into our first segment with Dr. Paul Richards, who will be discussing violence against men. Good morning to you, Dr. Richards.
Thank you for having me. Happy International Men's Day to you and your colleagues and your audience.
Thank you so much. Happy International Men's Day to you as well. All right. So what do you say is the main contributor to domestic violence in men? You know, normally you would hear domestic violence against women. You know, what do you think might be the main contributor for it in men?
In terms of men being the victims of domestic violence?
Yes.
Well, I mean, dysfunctional relationships, you know, poor socialization. So, you know, if people grow up in an environment where they see physical violence and abuse is the way to resolve conflict. That's the way they learn to resolve conflict. And very often it starts in childhood and goes into adolescence and ends up into adulthood. So if a relationship doesn't have communication or has unhealthy approaches to dealing with conflict, because all relationships will have conflict at one stage or another, then what happens is it very often turns to abuse. Verbal abuse, which people understate and don't understand, can lead to physical violence. So if you don't have mechanisms to deal with conflict, to deal with disagreements, then unfortunately it escalates into abuse and or violence. And because it's underreported, because men have these social norms that they adhere to, it doesn't mean it's not happening, and it's not as devastating for the man or the family as a whole.
Okay, in your opinion, what is the first step in curbing this issue? Because you said it starts at a young age and they go through certain issues in life and they may grow into it being abusive. Yes. So what is your opinion on being the first step in curbing the issue of domestic violence in households and to men specifically?
Well, generally, we should look at domestic violence in an holistic manner. I think one, teaching more effective communication skills to young people, starting very young, so that men understand what being a man is, as opposed to sometimes the toxic ways men express their masculinity. One, teaching young people in general conflict resolution, and as adults, even when you're an adult and you get into a relationship, understanding, getting to know someone, as opposed to diving headlong into a full-fledged relationship, may be one of the ways to get to know someone before you actually get deeply involved with them. And when you're involved with them, defining parameters within which the relationship must operate, understanding how to identify triggers that may have you in an unstable position in the relationship, understanding the power dynamic in the relationship, and also defining ways to communicate through conflict or through disagreements. So as children, we need to socialize our children differently, raise them differently, so they understand how to communicate and how to deal with effective conflict resolution. And as adults, teaching adults the skills to communicate in a more effective manner and a more productive manner.
Okay, what are some of the ways you would see that we need to correct in households when it comes to dealing with young male children? What are some of the correction that you would put towards the corrections that we give in the household? You know, we come from a Caribbean culture where, you know, beating and the shouting and stuff is a norm. You know, they say when you don't grow up with it, you don't turn out well. So what are some of the corrections that you would put toward issues like these?
Well, first, modeling the behavior that you think is appropriate. So you can tell a child, don't shout at your sister, or don't shove your sister, or don't hit your sister. But if you're doing it with the child's mother, that's the example the child is learning from. So you have to model the appropriate behavior, model effective communication, model communication in general, model how to sit and discuss issues even when you disagree, and reinforce it with words. So you can't do one without the other. Very often, parents are telling children, don't shout, don't hit, don't shove, don't curse, but they themselves are
Hitting and
doing the
shoving and
behaviors
cursing. Yeah.
and setting an example for their children. So what do you think the children are going to do? And also, there are teachable moments on television and media, because children are learning from media and social media, where they're seeing all sorts of content coming at them, and it's socializing them. So you have to sit with them and say, listen, what you're watching there, let's discuss it. Do you think that's appropriate? And if you think it's appropriate, why? If not, why not? And discuss the content and the information coming at them, because that's also socializing them and teaching them how they may choose to behave in wider society or in different circumstances, because all of these societal impacts, these agents of socialization, are having significant impacts on training our children and socializing our children for behavior in a particular way.
All right. I remember you mentioned that as adults, sometimes we don't look at the signs, or we don't look at the triggers while we're dating. And then we end up into the situation itself later on. So could you mention some of those signs and triggers that we may look for so that we may avoid that situation?
Well, somebody who is not open, you first meet somebody and you may be a little infatuated with them. So you tend to ignore red flags and triggers. For women, men who want to tell you how to dress, what to wear, where to go. People who generally are communicating with you 16, 20 times a day, they're messaging you. It may seem, oh my God, he or she really cares about me, they're into me. But it's a little, you have to know there's a balance to strike, particularly when you just meet someone. Ask them about their past relationships. If they're open to discussing those things, how did the relationship end? How did you deal with conflict in those relationships? Asking about their family life, what kind of family they came from, and if they were affected. And if the person is open to discussion, it's a way forward. If they're very closed and don't want to talk about these things, how are you going to communicate in the future? Men or women who are very abusive verbally, who tend to insult you, who tend to put you down, who are not supportive of your dreams and aspirations, who don't want to talk about your dreams and aspirations with you. All of these things are red flags and signs that maybe I should take another look at whether or not I want to get involved with this person, or if they've had a violent past, or if they have issues managing money. Very often people don't want to talk about money, but money is one of the biggest contributors to conflicts in relationships, and how you deal with money, how you deal with debt, how are you handling money responsibly. All of these things will eventually have significant impacts on your relationships moving forward. So all these things you need to have open discussions about. And if you see they're not managing these issues in their lives responsibly, it may be a red flag to maybe pull the brakes a little bit and reevaluate your assessment of this relationship or the potential for it.
I want to zone in on men in specific. Now, you gave a lot of pointers on what women should look for, but a lot of times men go into relationships, and because of what society expects from them, they just take and they don't say anything about it, or at least that is what I've heard, right? So what are some of the signs that men could look at in women where they would now consider it to be that it shouldn't be a relationship on a whole, that they shouldn't lead anything into anything further?
Well, the signs and triggers are basically the same, The difference is that men generally have a physical advantage in a relationship. So the issues don't come out as readily, because society, or older women have equalized in society in terms of education, social status. There's still a significant power dynamic in many relationships. And it also stems from what men want out of a relationship with a woman or a partner, and how they carry themselves in a relationship. People have different personality types. And as I said, if someone is not willing to communicate or be open about various aspects of their lives, if someone is, to me, this personal thing, seeming to depend on you to carry them through at very early stages of the relationship, you have to ask yourselves, well, what am I getting into this relationship for, and what is the person getting into the relationship for? But very often the triggers of potential abuse and victimization are the same for both genders. It's just that the power dynamic generally in society is different from men and women. And men very often fall into the habit of living up to societal expectations. So how they behave is very often guided by those societal expectations. And they generally sometimes make decisions based on what society expects of them, as opposed to sitting around rationally deciding and having some introspection and asking themselves, what do I want in my life? Who do I want to be, and what type of partner do I want? And what type of partner am I willing to be in the relationships? Because very often with both genders, we want a lot from the other person, but we're not looking at ourselves to see what we have to offer in a relationship, or a mutually beneficial relationship, or a relationship that's productive and healthy.
All right. Those are some great pointers, because recently I was speaking to someone and that person would have mentioned that they don't understand how it is somebody would end up in a situation like that. How could they have not seen the signs while dating that person leading into a relationship? So I find those pointers to be great ones for both genders, you said, yes?
Very often we jump into relationships because we see someone, we're physically attracted to them, we're infatuated, and we want to get from one stage to the other very quickly. In many cases, sexual activity starts very, very early before really getting to know someone, and those endorphins and hormones kick in, and you really have not gotten to know the person at all before going from stage to stage in a relationship. So by the time you end up saying, well, we are in a relationship, you really don't know who you're in a relationship with. And that's where the problems start, and how to deal with this person, or who this person is, or how this person responds under certain circumstances and societal pressures, or life's pressures, because life will have pressures, and it's an individual that you're dealing with, and that person has a particular response pattern to societal pressures and societal demands. So you really need to get to know someone very well, with both men and women, before you dive deeply into a relationship.
All right. So I am getting that, a type of conversation like this needs to happen again, because I'm seeing that there is an abyss of things to talk about in terms of relationships and young people, and what to look for, what not to encourage, and these things like that. Yeah. So, okay. So we're past the relationship stage of it. We're in that relationship, and a man has understood, or he's now seeing from his standpoint where his abuse could be happening toward him. And he comes to you. What should be the first step as a friend dealing with a situation like this?
Communication. Are you communicating with your partner? If I'm talking to a friend who comes to me and says, I'm in a relationship and I'm being verbally abused, I'm being cursed out, the person is hitting me, the first thing I'd say is, are you feeling safe? Because you're being abused. Is the person open to communication? Is the person open to going to counseling? And if not, you may want to separate yourself from that, because whether you realize it or not, whether you admit it to yourself or not, whether you internalize it productively or not, you are in an unhealthy situation. And very often people want to stay in relationship because they're in love, and you can't discount how people feel, the emotional component of it. But you have to ask yourself, is this healthy for me physically, emotionally, psychologically, financially? And if not, you may need to consider removing yourself from the relationship, having a timeout. If the person is open to communication and or counseling, you may seek counseling to get to a healthier position. But I would advise anyone who's being abused physically, psychologically, or emotionally, or even financially, to first remove themselves from that situation, because these things can escalate very quickly, in some cases leading to fatalities, violent, fatal conflicts, and you don't want that at all.
Okay. And, oftentimes people would say, I don't want to get involved in their marriage and these things like that. Would you say that you would do it, given that, the circumstances of how somebody could turn against you? What do I do when I don't want to get that involved, when I don't want to be that intrusive into someone's marriage, but I still want to help that person deal with the situation?
Someone has to want help. Okay. You can't force your opinion on someone who doesn't want your opinion, or who doesn't want to abide by your advice. If they come for your advice, you give them your advice. If you think the person is in danger, in physical danger of being hurt, I think you should report it to the police, let the police deal with it from that perspective. Police has the Victim and Support Wellness Unit, and they can run an investigation to see if the person is safe, but you don't want to feel the person is in an unsafe position, maybe the victim of abuse and violence, and not to me. Either talk to them about it to help them to get out of that situation, and or if you feel violence is happening or imminent, report it to police, because you don't want to wait and say nothing and then somebody ends up dead, which has happened in many cases in Trinidad and Tobago where the neighbor used to hear this, or he and she used to tell me X and Y, and I didn't want to get involved because it's husband and wife business. When you have a fair idea that this may be happening, and you can report it to police in a responsible, confidential manner, so police can go and investigate and make sure everyone is safe in that situation.
All right. I love how you have mentioned the holistic system that we have to use in terms of reporting. In your opinion, do you think that the system itself treats well with cases of domestic violence against men? What is your opinion on how they treat with it in terms of report to dealing with the issue itself?
I think it's gotten better. I think it has a long way to go. Sometimes I don't understand how and why a confidential report ends up in the public domain. Men who report that they are being abused very often and end up the victim of secondary traumatization, where because of societal expectations, well, he can't handle himself, he lets she do him this and that and the other, so society responds in a particular way to a man, further trying to emasculate him. And I don't think that many of the reports have a right to end up in the public domain. So I think the police have come a long way, and they are, by my understanding, from Senior Sup Claire Guy Allen, who is the head of this Victim and Support Wellness Unit of the Police Service, that they're receiving training as to how to deal with this situation. But I still think we have a ways to go where the police response to many of these situations are concerned. Or is concerned.
All right. And I know you have to stay with us because we have another big issue to discuss, and that is bullying amongst men or bullying toward men. So we stay tuned for that, viewers. Before we go into that segment, however, I have one last question to you. To a man that is already in that situation, what advice do you want to give to him on air?
Don't let your pride get in the way of your well-being. Very often, men are socialized to be proud creatures and ego-driven creatures. Don't let your pride or your false pride get in the way of your well-being, your psychological, physical, or financial well-being. If you feel you're in a situation where you're uncomfortable, or you're being taken advantage of, or you're being abused, either have a conversation with someone who can help you get out of it, or get out of it yourself, because it's not productive being in that state or in that situation for a period of time, for any time at all. And very often men stay in these situations because of a pride drive. So I would say seek counseling for both parties. Try to engage in open communication and dialogue, productive dialogue. And if those things fail, remove yourself from that unhealthy situation.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. I find that to be very good advice. Sometimes pride, maybe your ego may get into the way, and it causes us to remain in a situation that could be very much different and get better for ourselves. So I hope that the young men who are viewing this and who may be unfortunately in that situation, they take heed to counsel. All right. So Dr. Richards, I ask you to stay tuned, and to our viewers as well, I ask you to stay tuned. And in the meantime, you share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Black Friday starts now at Courts. Get new and amazing deals every week with the lowest prices on the hottest electronics, top-of-the-line appliances, and stylish furniture. No need to waste your time shopping around. Plus, you can shop now and pay us in February 2025. Black Friday starts now. Don't miss out. Courts, bringing value home.
Are you
thinking about spending Christmas in Tobago? Well, call us at Thorns Place. We are located at the hills of Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port, with rooms starting at 200 TT. Call us now at 745-7306 or 682-8676. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Message us on WhatsApp at Thorns Place. Your Christmas in Tobago will be even more special.
Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU. Get ready for Tobago Stockwest Next Level 2024. Join us for an unforgettable night of talent and excitement as Tobago Stockwest, in collaboration with Tobago Updates, presents the first semi-final on Thursday, November 14th, 2024, and the second semi-final on November 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex. Celebrate the incredible talent from across Tobago's communities and witness a showcase like no other. Admission is just $50. Don't miss your chance to support the stars of tomorrow. See you there.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power.
Welcome back, viewers, to Good Morning Tobago. We continue on with Dr. Paul Richards, but we go into a different segment. He has just opened up about domestic violence against men and how it can be, the result of what it can lead to or what may lead up to it. Now we go into protecting the bullied man. And I know that, normally young ladies would be victims of bullying in school, or you would hear bullying at the school level only, but maybe it can be dealt with as an adult. Maybe bullying has been happening as in our adulthood and no one is speaking out about it. I invite Dr. Richards as we go through this topic this morning on protecting the bullied man. So Dr. Richards, to you, at what stage would bullying occur the most in your opinion?
Well, there's no special time for bullying. It depends on what your own personal definition of bullying. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have something we call pecan, which was widely accepted years ago and is still widely accepted among men, among each other, where men give each other talk, but we don't know how far it goes and the impact it's having on someone's psychological well-being. So very often, men in a group lambing with each other would say things that they consider pecan, but you don't know how that person is receiving that or what effect it's having on their psyche or their sense of self-esteem. We can also go a step further because of the pervasiveness and explosion of the use of the internet, TikTok, social media in general. We see people making careers out of bullying each other and saying really awful things about each other online as part of, unfortunately, what's come to be known as social media entertainment and influencers now. And people have normalized this behavior and normalized accepting it, but it is having devastating effects on people's psyche and well-being, both men and women. And because it's now in the realm of social media, someone doesn't even have to be logged on or have to be in front of your face to be receiving consistent, devastating, abusive language toward yourself and your personality and your character on a consistent basis. And there's very little in many cases you can do about it, depending on the circumstance and who is delivering these comments about you. So it's a very difficult thing to deal with now. On one hand, if it's face-to-face, you can have a conversation with the person. If they're open to changing, it's one thing. And even if in that situation, many men are not going to say, listen, you're hurting my feelings by saying that, because it's expected that you need to learn to take talk. Well, you're not a man or what? And that's the general sentiment they're trying to be. You can't take a little talk,
Right.
while internally, the person is really feeling a sense of deep hurt, shame, embarrassment, and reduction of self-esteem from the comments being made, even in a close social circle. Take that online and it's multiplied by thousands and thousands of people. So I think we need to have a national conversation about bullying among adults, because it's now turned into, unfortunately, entertainment on TikTok and Instagram Live, where it's expected that, well, this one saying this about that one is going to respond tomorrow. This one saying that about this one. And people have made entire social media careers out of literally being abusive and bullying each other. So it's really an unfortunate development that seems to have no end in sight.
Yes, I love the fact that you acknowledge that there is bullying amongst adults, because oftentimes you'll hear about bullying on the school level, but people don't realize that bullying actually follows into the workspace. It follows into different aspects of life, and normally they don't know how to differentiate or deal with the situations on a whole. There are cases where, well, to add to what you were saying, honestly, I think bullies make bullies. So I'm being bullied by this person, and because I have people under me, if I'm being bullied, then other people need to be bullied too, because I need to feel better about myself, right? So I love the fact that you have acknowledged bullying amongst adults. So in light of that, what do you think may encourage an individual to get into bullying on a whole, right? For the child and for the adult?
But poor socialization, coming from a background where, as you said, yes, people who, there are a large percentage of people who engage in bullying activity were bullied themselves. So that's what's been modeled to them. And also unhealthy approaches to building stature in society. So you feel if you bully, you get more power in the environment that you're in and people respect you more. Unfortunately, it's an unhealthy approach and an unproductive approach, but that's the way they're looking for props, as we say. They're looking for societal credibility. And it starts in the playground, it starts in the classroom, and it rolls into adolescence and adulthood. And we see it in many sectors. We see it in the office. We see it in social settings, in entertainment centers, and we're seeing it more and more on social media. So, I mean, it's a vicious cycle, and unfortunately, it's becoming more and more acceptable because of social media, because of what people look forward to it for entertainment. When someone is the perpetrator and someone is the victim, particularly online, because it gathers likes and views, and in an attention economy, people are not really caring about the effect it's having on the person on the receiving end. They're looking at it as entertainment and getting likes and getting views and being in the know and in the circle. And see what X said last night about why, and it's turned into entertainment, unfortunately, and having devastating effects, and also socializing a next generation of children to behave in the same way, which is really unfortunate.
Yes. So in specific to men, what do you think young men may or will be going through that would cause them to be bullies in their early life and then later on into adulthood, specifically to men? I know that, there are some things that might be generalized to men and women, but men in specific, what are some of the situations that young men may be facing that may cause them to turn into bullies all entirely? I know that social media is a very huge one.
Poor sense of self-esteem.
Yes.
Through poor family interactions, a lack of positive role models. In many cases, young men don't have male positive role models around them. The people they're seeing and looking up to are bullies themselves. An unfortunate approach to dealing with conflict. Every conflict will come into everybody's life at different stages, probably every day, every week, but you have to learn to deal with it. Situations where a poor sense of self-esteem, which comes from underperformance in school, so you're not performing well in school for several different reasons. or you're not performing on the football field, and you're finding ways, unproductive ways, to build your self-esteem in the absence of productive ways to build your self-esteem. So you're expressing yourself in an antisocial manner to change the power dynamic that you feel about yourself by your poor self-esteem. And that's one of the main reasons you see people engaging in bullying activity, because they're looking at building their self-esteem in an unproductive manner. And there's no one around to tell them that's not the way to do it. The people they're looking at and looking up to are engaging in it, so they're modeling that antisocial behavior.
Okay, how do you think we should go about dealing with the issue of bullying? A lot of people speak to the victim being bullied, but what about the bully themselves? What are some measures that can be taken to deal with a bully on a whole and then the victim of the bullying?
Well, you have to identify the activities taking place in the first place. Very often it goes under the radar. It's identified in schools. The school officials in many cases do nothing about it. It continues until it gets to a stage where, I mean, we saw what happened recently nationally, and there needs to be systems in place so people can feel empowered to report it. And then we need counseling for both the victim and the bully, because if you don't counsel the victim, they can be devastating, or they are devastating psychological and sometimes physical effects. But if you don't counsel the bully, you don't get to the root problem of what's causing it, and that person will continue perpetrating that behavior. So counseling, education, public awareness campaigns about what bullying is, because very often what we accept as normal is not normal behavior or should not be considered normal behavior. So very often people are unaware that they're engaging in this unproductive antisocial behavior, and how they can report it and how they can seek help if they are victims of bullying, physical and verbal abuse. And if someone identifies that someone is a bully, what are the mechanisms to deal with that person so they can receive counseling and remediate that behavioral pattern?
Okay. Now, if we have to deal with an issue, we have to first deal with what is causing the issue, as you said. What are some of the signs that we may see in our workspaces that may, give us the red flag of this person is a bully, and how do we deal with it in the workspace itself as adults?
In the workspace, you're talking about adults. Adults will know. I'm presuming that in an office space, there are set rules and guidelines into how people should interact. There are parameters within which people behave and operate in a workplace. There are IR and HR guidelines in place in a workplace for conflict resolution. And if there's no IR, HR manager or policy, there should be one. And there should be conflict resolution avenues in the workplace. If someone is feeling bullied or threatened or abused, there should be someone they can report to. If it's their superior doing it, there should be someone or some mechanism in place where they can report it so that it doesn't continue and impact their sense of well-being and also the productivity in the workplace. So I think workplaces, and I know this is a broad statement, should have those policies and guidelines in place and avenues for redress. In the absence of that, I'm sure there are external agencies, the Ministry of Labor, for example, or other agencies that can be avenues for redress in these situations where people can feel comfortable in reporting and finding some level of remediation or redress.
Okay, all right. And of course, just like the last segment, I'd like to finish off with some advice that you'd like to give to a young man who has been through the system. When I say system, I mean from a youth to an adult, and is now dealing with the after effects of being bullied throughout his childhood and then ending up in the workspace as a man who doesn't know how to deal with these issues. What advice would you give to a young man in terms of addressing the issues and getting over them?
Don't be afraid to feel. Very often young men in society are told you're not supposed to feel or show emotions. You're supposed to be a man and stand up and take it and not acknowledge that it is having a devastating effect on you. Acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge your emotions. Seek help, seek counseling. Find someone you trust and have respect for in a positive manner to have a conversation with. And don't be afraid to seek counseling to get yourself well. You can be physically unwell and you can also be psychologically and emotionally unwell. So acknowledge your feelings and validate your feelings and seek help and have conversations with people that you have trust and respect for.
All right. To our young men from the Tobago Updates family, as we're wrapping up an interview based on domestic violence against men and protecting bullied men, seek the help that you need. It's part of self-care and it's honestly part of self-love, right? It builds you as a man and it doesn't make you less of a man to speak about your feelings to someone in a professional space, of course, or if you feel safe with your loved ones, speaking to them as well. So thank you so much, Dr. Richards, for being with us here on Tobago Updates. It was a pleasure having you. And of course, we look forward to having you in another light, as I mentioned earlier, on Tobago Updates once again. So from Good Morning Tobago.
Happy International Men's Day to everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Richards, for being with us here on GMT on Tobago Updates. Viewers, as we continue on, I remind you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.
Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Standards Black Friday deal starts now with 35% off select televisions, 30% off select appliances, 25% off Christmas decor, 15% off select divans, 20% off select furniture, and you can shop in store and online. Standards Black Friday deal. Nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Welcome back, viewers, to Good Morning Tobago here on Tobago Updates, live from Port Mall here in Scarborough. Now, we have come to the end of GMT, but as the day goes on, this is International Men's Day. To all the women out there, show some appreciation for the men in your community. Show them some love. Give them a hug. If a hug is too much, give them a handshake. Give them a little comment. Show them how you appreciate them. Compliment them. As much as men may try to hide it, they love compliments. You might even see the little blush in the corner of their eye, going through the day. To us all, I wish you a day of success and, of course, prosperity. At 9 o'clock, you are already 1 hour into the working day. For those of you who do that 8 to 4 or that 9 to 5, if the 9 to 5s are just starting, good luck on the rest of your day. To the 8 to 4s, you have just a few more hours before the day ends. All right. So from here, us here at Tobago Updates, the Tobago Updates family, happy International Men's Day and a blessed day to you all.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new